Tires. Welcome to another episode of Aaron at the Fly Desk, brought to you by Angler Made. One of my favorite things to do, if you've seen any of my videos, is to make a good fly grate. And so what I like to do is take traditional flies and add a little bit of my own personal touch to it and make them that much better. So today, one of my favorite flies is a Pheasant Tail Nymph, and I actually like tying them on these Daiichi 1270 hooks. The problem is right here at the curve it's really tight, so a lot of times you can't put a bead on it for added weight. And so I like to tie these flies with a little bit of lead, and so I've cut a strip of lead on. And the cool thing about lead is you can actually use it to make the fly look even better, give it a little extra taper. So what I like to do is put the lead on this fly more towards the front, and then I like to get a little bit of super glue, and my trusty 6-year-old sidekick has obviously been in here because my super glue is gone. So we will improvise, and we'll just use a little bit of thread, and we'll get this nice and tight, and I'll just go through a couple more times. Okay, so that's not going to spin. Normally I like to put a little dab of super glue there, but I don't want to have to edit this video while I look for it. My 6-year-old is obsessed with tying flies, and I give him free rein. I tell him he can come in here and do whatever he wants. It's the best way to learn. So pretty soon we'll shoot a video of him tying a fly. He's said he's gearing up for it. Okay, on my pheasant tails I like to use goose biots for the tail. So I'm going to get a couple here and just snip them off. And then what I like to do, so you can see how they're curved down, I just take one and I spin it around. So now I've got that nice little V look, and I will simply put it on there. That's about the right length for my tail. And then I like to get it right down to where it's at the curve. So you can see I've got that perfect little V in the tail, which I really like for my pheasant tail nymphs. I just sorry, I just found the super glue on the ground across the room, so I went and grabbed it. So I've got a little dab on there, and we will put our thread through. Okay, normally on a pheasant tail nymph, what you're going to do is you're going to get pheasant tail, and you get a long part and get 6 or 7 strands, wrap it around with some copper wire, and that is your body. But the other night I was experimenting, and I found this product. It's called Nymph Body, and I just found it on eBay, and it's just a bag of this stretchy latex stuff, and it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And so what I did is to test it, I made a fly last night, and after it was done it kind of had the same color as a pheasant tail. So I thought today what we would do is I would show you what I did to this product to make it look awesome. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it, and I'm going to just wrap end over end to where it creates its own rib. Like so. get that off. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to get just a brown permanent marker, and actually I'm going to tie this off just to give us a little more room. And then we'll reattach our thread. So I'll take this brown permanent marker and I'll actually color the top of this fly and the side of it, but I'm going to leave the bottom part that kind of light orange. Like so. And so what it does is it kind of accentuates the ribbing portion, but gives it a little bit of a different color on the bottom. And quite frankly, a lot of the nymphs you see in the water, that's exactly what they look like. So once we do that, we're going to take some UV glue and we're simply going to coat the body, just the top of it, kind of give it a shell casing. So now you can see the ribbing through it, and you can see it's got that, whoops, where'd our focus go? You can see it's got that cool two-toned underbelly, and then kind of the shell casing back. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our thread and we're going to reattach it. And now I'm actually going to use pheasant tail. We have to put some pheasant tail on this guy or it won't be a true pheasant tail nymph, which it isn't. It's just a, what I like to call an alternative. Okay, and what I like to do is kind of measure just towards the back of the body. Like so. And then what we do is I get some, instead of using peacock curl, I use peacock ice dub. Then what I do is just dub a little bit around my pre-waxed monocord thread. Just like so. Whoops. Kind of pull it back, make sure I got plenty of room for my head. So you can see that gives it a nice, it's not peacock curl, but it looks like it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull our pheasant tail over the top. So I pulled it, I've cinched it down. And now I'm going to bend it back. So I get that little emerging looking wing sticking up. Okay, so right now I could whip finish, I'd be done. But I'm going to show you one more thing we can do with this fly that's actually pretty cool. So I'm going to take this off. So before I bend that back, I lick my fingers and I pull that dubbing down. And then what I do is I get some thick UV glue. Ooh, I bet that UV glue hardened. Left my light on. Stick the needle through. And this just makes this fly a little bit stronger. It gives it a little extra look. And all I do is I build up that thorax with some thick UV glue. Make sure it's covered it well. Bring that over and hit it. So I really like putting a little bit of glue over my thorax because it seals that fly in really good. Gives it a little bit better look, I think, a little more natural. So now we'll bend this back. Another thing you can do is, instead of bending these back so it's like emerging wings, you can actually bend them under, and it gives it some more legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my dubbing down, trim it a little bit. So that, my friends, is just another rendition of a pheasant tail that works really awesome, stays together good. I really like this nymph body. Easy to use, looks good, gives it a natural ribbing. I'll do another video and I'll show you how we can make that ribbing even stand out a little bit more. But for now, this fly will do. Just another rendition of a pheasant tail nymph. Thank you for watching. This thing's nice and heavy, looks great in the water, and it'll catch a lot of fish. So thank you for watching.